My name's Gray Malin. I'm 34, and we're in West Hollywood, California right now at my studios. When the COVID-19 situation started to become serious, I thought, oh, I'm an online website. This can't affect me. I don't have a retail store. But within days, we were all ordered to basically work from home. There's been very little downtime for me in the last decade. I, for the first time, have had to stop. I can't travel right now. I can't make new work. And it's allowing me a moment to slow down and to open up and share the stories of Gray Malin. So I first discovered photography in high school, and this was back before digital photography, and I was shooting everything with film. So in this class, we were learning about basically like how to develop our own film and make prints. And it was like a total obsession. I had no idea I was gonna love it so much. Photography is now the most popular art form in the world. But when I started doing it, it felt like no one really cared. No one even really knew much about it. I mean, film photography, are you kidding? Like, feels like ages ago. And so when I went to college, I was adamant about finding a school that had a photography program so that I could minor in photography. And I ended up going to school in Boston. I graduated college during the recession, which was unfortunate timing, in 2008. And I was really lucky. I had an internship at Paramount Pictures, and it led to a job. You know, I was working in the president's office, and I felt like I was out of my element, and being surrounded by all these people at that office who were so passionate about film really made me think, what am I passionate about? And for me, I knew that was photography. I just didn't know if it was a viable career. I mean, when I told my parents, they were extremely worried for me. I told them, look, I'm going to give this a year, and if it doesn't work out, I'll figure something out. In the meantime, my boyfriend at the time, Jeff, had a stable job at Disney, and I just knew I had to give this a chance. I said, what else, what's next? Like, where do I go from here? And I thought, okay, Gray, where do you shop? Where do you go for your own life? And every Sunday I was visiting this flea market in West Hollywood, and I found all these great sort of treasures for my house there. And one Sunday I was walking through with my friend, and she turned and said to me, she was like, Gray, do you realize that there aren't any photographers here selling their work? And I was like, I looked around, and there were a couple artists, but there weren't any photographers. And I thought, oh my God, like, this is the perfect place. So sure enough, I got a booth there, and I figured out how to like set up this pop-up tent, that a 10 by 10 tent. You might see it like a barbecue or maybe at the beach. And I figured out like a netting system with plastic net where I could like sort of attach it on the sides, and then I would print my photographs and put them in plastic sleeves with like a mat board around them, and I would clip them on the net in the booth. So it was sort of like a wall of artwork on three sides. So you could come in, view the work, and we could have a chat, etc. So I made sort of this pop-up gallery at the flea market. The response at the flea market was actually great. I sold work my very first Sunday. I started selling my work for $35 a photograph. That came with the mat and the sleeve, and I would give out coupons to this framer. It's a chain company called Aaron Brothers, and I was like, if you take this 50% off coupon in there and get an 18 by 24 frame, this mat will fit right in perfectly. And so I'd send them out with their art and their coupon, and they would go and get like a pre-made frame. The big turning point after doing the flea market for about a year was a random Sunday when this young woman came in my booth and she said, "Have you ever thought of selling your work online?" And I thought, oh, like my artwork on the internet? I didn't even know that was possible. Like, do people buy art on the internet? I think it was a real turning point, and I started to think about how can I use the internet to propel my career forward. Jeff has a girlfriend who's pretty savvy, and she sent him an email being like, "Hey, have you ever heard of this online flash sale site that just started called One Kings Lane?" And she wrote like, "This looks like something Gray would love." And Jeff sent it to me, and I looked at it and I was like, oh my God. I immediately went to the contact page and wrote an email to info@onekingslane.com and said, "Hi, I'm Gray Malin. I'm a photographer, and I think I could sell my work really successfully on your website. Would you, can I take a meeting?" What's really cuckoo is that I Googled her and found out she was going to be hosting a party at this store just like a mile from our house, and I decided to go, and I went up to her at the party and I said, "Hi, Susan, I'm Gray Malin, the photographer who emailed you last week." So I did an event with her, and sure enough, we sold like 60 prints, and I didn't have to get up out of bed. It all sold while I was like sleeping or laying on the sofa. I couldn't believe it. I just got an email with all these purchase orders and addresses, and I saw my work being sent out to, all over California, all over the United States, Texas, New York. In the flea market, people loved this one photograph I had hanging of the Prada Marfa installation. And I thought, okay, what is it about this photograph that people love? So I thought, like, what if I went back to Marfa, and what if I shot more images at this location? And I was taking this class about how to become a fine art photographer, and I was told I needed to start thinking about making a body of work, like a series of images, not just one image. So I thought, what if I made a series of images around the Prada Marfa installation? And once that idea, that like aha moment idea of the series and the Prada store came to mind, I couldn't stop thinking of like funny and whimsical and humorous ways to make images. I pulled up to the store, the Prada installation, at like 5:45 a.m., really early, and my dad's friend Malcolm, who's a real cowboy, and his friend Carl, who's also a cowboy, who brought the mule, they were already there, and they were just standing there on the side of the highway, shooting the shit, chatting, staring over at the Prada installation. And I jumped out of the car as fast as I could, grabbed my camera, and I said, "Hey guys, will you just keep that pose? Please don't move, stay right there." And I just went right behind them, and I got this shot, and it's called Two Cowboys, and to this day, it's just one of my favorite shots. It was totally just in the moment. It was like I hit the jackpot. Like, I couldn't stop selling these photos. People loved them. They loved the fashion ones with the shopping bags. They loved just the mule standing next to the store. They loved the two cowboys looking at the installation. They even loved the classic, just simple shot with, the beautiful sunrise coming up in the colors of the sky. And it was like I made a series, a fine art series. I really, truly believe that when you know someone, you feel connected to them, And I hope that when you see my art moving forward, you feel like you know me better and you know the value in that piece of art. It's much more than just a photograph. It's this whole journey, this story that I really want to open up and share with you. For the next few weeks, I'll be sharing the stories from my very beginning to where I am literally right now. So come along for the ride. I promise it's going to be a good one.